James, today's NLI Day. We got a whole new crop of Redhawks coming in here. I want to go back just a little bit and talk about, what was it about Miami when you were going through the recruiting process? What was it about Miami that said that's where I want to go to you?
Yeah, like I said, those guys, Coach Martin and Coach Bricken, man, they really made me feel like I was at home. They made me feel like they really wanted me to come here, not only to be a football player, but to be a great person and to get my degree from a great academic school. And I just felt, back then, they used to come to all my high school basketball games to see me play, just to come see me play, and talk to me afterwards for a little bit just about being great and made sure I was still doing what I needed to do in school, back in high school. And even though I was committed to Cincinnati, they still pursued me. And, I just felt like this was the school that I needed to be at to be a great person and a great football player.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to your first meeting with Coach Martin. What was that like?
When the first time I met Coach Martin, he stared at me a little bit. I was kind of, intimidated at first, but after that, he smiled at me, and I knew everything was cool. And he just had this presence of being confident and doing all the little things right. So, I felt like just meeting him off that first conversation that I wanted to come to Miami. And even though I didn't know why, I just felt that presence, and I knew, he would be the one to help me excel and be a better person and a better football player.
Talk a little bit about how that relationship has grown through the years as you've developed as a wide receiver and, obviously rebuilding the program. How has that relationship with not only Coach Martin but the coaching staff grown?
I feel like I'm definitely a bigger part in this program now. When I first got here, I was a young guy trying to figure out the ropes and trying to figure out what's my next move and how I'm going to do certain things. But, Coach Martin and Coach Brick and the whole coaching staff, they kept me and my teammates focused. We always had study tables just to make sure our grades was right because, like I said, they wanted us to do everything right at every single moment. And they feel like off the field is more important than on the field. And I feel the same way. And, building up this program from where it came from, we didn't have the APC, we didn't have all the equipment and everything. So, I feel like what I have done here have definitely, helped us. And I feel like Coach Martin not only see us as players, but as people too. So, he comes to us, when we feel certain type of way, or he just asks us a question about how we feel about, this play or that play, or do you feel like this formation is good, or like he just want us to be involved in the plays as much as just running the plays. So, I feel like he definitely is coaching us to be coaches in the future and not just players. And I feel like that's what separates him from a lot of different coaches.
You come to Miami and you alluded to it, not to become a better football player or a better man. It's all of that together.
Yeah.
I mean, developing you as a human being, as a football player, and as a person. But there is another third side to this thing, especially for guys like you. Obviously, a very gifted athlete. How much does it play to you to see guys like Quentin Rollins and JT having great success in the NFL when ultimately I know that's your goal too?
Yes, sir. Oh, man, definitely hearing about Quentin Rollins' story, he played 1 year and he was able to go to the NFL. I just felt like that was just a testament of the coaching from the coaches and how far they can push you to excel at your sport or at your position, and not only just in football but in life too. And, Coach Martin, he definitely, puts the responsibility on the players and accountability on the players to make the right decisions, not only for the team, but for your teammates and for the coaching staff too, and for the whole program. And I feel like that's what pushes the team and the coaching staff to make the right decisions, to do everything we need to do to be successful.
Coach talks a lot about getting bigger, stronger, faster every year.
Yes, sir.
You are a guy that has done that. Has that been the biggest change in your game from when you got here to now?
Most definitely. When I got here, I was the same height. I was probably 20 pounds lighter. But Coach Martin, the first thing he said to me was, you need to put on some weight, because you're going to be dangerous. And first, being a young kid, I was like, I'm fine, But just getting to play time during my freshman year, you know, I understood the factors of, you know, being stronger, bigger, stronger, faster, because these guys were older. Some guys were older than me. Some guys have more experience than me. So I knew I had to take that seriously. And like I said, he held us accountable in the weight room too, just as much as in the classroom. So everybody had that compete level to get bigger, stronger, faster. And we always had competitions in the weight room, and you know, guys love to compete. And that's the guys he recruited throughout all the classes. And I feel like that have been the biggest. That's why we have made the biggest jump so far, is because of our compete level and our want to win and succeed and be successful.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the indoor facility, the Dowk Indoor Sports Facility, and how much that has helped your game. I know in speaking with Gus Ragland for the show, he alluded to it. Just being able to get in there on days when it's snowing and below zero, to run routes, when it's raining, to get in there and work and run routes has to be just a huge advantage for you.
Oh, most definitely. That definitely was the greatest part for Coach Martin, because he was like, there's no excuses, you know. Because, you know, before we had, like Gus said, you had to go outside and run routes outside in the snow. And, you know, I'm from Florida, you know, snow, and it just doesn't mix for me. But, you know, it definitely was I definitely appreciated the indoor, because like you said, we was able to get in when it was raining, snowing, sleet, storming. Like, we was able to get in there and get some routes in. And I definitely feel like that definitely impacted a lot of our developments as players, because we was able to get extra work in when other people not able to.
When you take a look at your time here at Miami, tell me, on campus, it can be an athletic facility, it can be anywhere, what's your favorite spot on campus? Where's your go-to place for James Gardner?
My go-to place first is Bell Tower.
Yeah.
You know, that's where the food is.
Oh, yeah.
I love to eat, so that's where I go to get my meals. My second place is down at our player lounge. You know, I get to sit and chill, play the game a little bit, you know, watch some film. The APC is definitely my favorite place, because you can do everything in one. You got your treatment. You can, if you feel like lifting for 15-20 minutes, you can get in there and get a lift in, and after that you can go watch some film and just be a better person. And you got study rooms where you can go do your homework, and you know, they set up everything for our success. You know, and that's why I feel like that place right there is the best place. I feel that's in Oxford.
Outside of the coaching staff, and we spent a lot of time talking about the coaches, outside of the coaching staff, who's been or made the biggest impact on you since you've been at Miami?
The person who made the biggest impact for me is my tutor, Kathleen. She definitely behind the scenes of James Gardner, you know, the football player, the person, you know, she was there, you know, after the long games, had to come back the next day, you know, had to do my homework. She's there to help me study, you know, when the games doesn't go how, you know, it plans, you know, she's there. I'm there to talk to her about, you know, certain things, personal life, you know, I could talk to her. So I feel like she definitely have pushed me, and she always gives me encouraging words on how to get better, and how to, you know, she doesn't know a lot about football, but, you know, she definitely been watching a lot more football because of us. And, you know, I feel like she has been the one to actually push me day after day, because I see her every day. So, you know, she's the one I feel like, you know, that has been pushing me.
Really? Okay. I want to ask you about the process and progress of this team. Obviously, in the time that you've been here, it has changed a lot.
Yes.
Wins haven't been what you thought they would be this year, but certainly the mindset and the culture of this program has changed so much. Tell me a little bit about that for you.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, when I first got here, there wasn't, you know, it was a lack of actual, you know, Division I talent when we first got here. But after a year, you know, that talent level rose, and my mindset had to rise too, just because of the fact of the younger guys that was coming in. You know, they were good, and I feel like I had to compete on a higher level, and the coaching staff felt they had to compete on a higher level, and we all had that same mindset of just getting better every single day. We never talk about next year, or 3 games before. Like, it's always that next game, or that practice, or that, you know, film study. It was always, let's be perfect at what we're doing right now and not focus on the future. And I just felt like, you know, that is with that along with the tradition of winning here, and like was said earlier, Ben Roethlisberger, Quentin Rollins, those guys were winning and those guys are successful, and I feel like you can only be successful here in Miami, nothing less, because the coach, like I said, Coach Martin, he does not accept failure. Right. Even when we lose a game, that's not a loss, that's a lesson.
Right. Want to ask you about not only the way you play, I mean, obviously you go get the football every time, but also about playing in games that, as you come to Miami, you get the opportunity to play high quality opponents.
Yes,
obviously this year, Notre Dame. What is it like for you to not only play in those games, but to make big plays in those games?
I just feel like, I have that underdog mentality, and I feel like that's how Miami has been seen for the last couple of years. And, just going into those games, before the games, I know that we have to make plays, and I have to make plays for my teammates because, like I said, Coach Martin, he hold us accountable for everything that we do and being the best that we can. And, just making the big plays, I don't know, I'm in that mindset of, it kind of like blank out because, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it, but you just make that play, and then you feel that rush of your teammates being able to trust you more, and having the coaches be able to trust you more, so they can throw you the ball more and make that next play. And I don't set any other game aside, but I just know I go after every opponent. Mississippi State, Iowa's game, the stadium was packed. I did have a great game against them, and I felt like, just being able to be on the field with them and showcase our talents as a team, I feel like that helped build our confidence for that next team or that next level that I feel like we have, and give the younger guys opportunity to feel that same feeling that I felt when I was younger. And playing against Mississippi State in a bowl game, I feel like that was my best moments. And just the fact that we was at a spot where nobody believed we was going to do anything, and we came back the last 6 games and won all 6 games and was bowl eligible, and we went into that game underdog, and we didn't come out victorious, but at the end of the day we fought very hard, and we fought as hard as possible for our team and for the coaches. The coaching staff did everything they could, but we came up 1 point short. But at the end of the day, Mississippi State understood, we was not a team to be reckoned with. And I feel like going on to next year, bigger teams or teams in period know that Miami University is getting better every single year. And I feel like that's that culture that we was missing in these past couple of years, is that mentality of winning every single year. And when Coach Martin came here, that's the first thing that he said to us is, we're going to win. We just have to have that right mindset. And I just feel like going against those bigger teams, it definitely helped our confidence. And definitely next year, those teams better watch out because we're coming.